and welcome to the second part of this movie night with me, Ebba and
Linnea.
The previous video we watched The Wicker Man, and now we're discussing the second movie that we watched, and that's
Frankenhooker.
a 1990 movie. And quickly, the story. Would you like to
Yeah.
spoil it? You can watch this without being worried by spoilers so far. We'll let you know.
We'll put up the spoiler wall later. So it's a horror comedy, I guess you can call it, about a guy called Jeffrey, who he's a bit of a weirdo, likes to experiment with brains and such. He has a girlfriend called Elizabeth, and she's accidentally killed by a lawnmower, as you know, that happens all the time, right? But he keeps her head, because yes, that's what you do. And he plans to put her back together and sort of revive her Frankenstein style. And he uses parts from hookers, body parts from hookers. So he kind of goes looking for them and I'm like, oh, you have nice legs, I'm going to take your legs. So that's the basic premise. And then some more stuff happens, but that's the gist of it.
And just like in general, what did you think of it? Would you recommend it to someone?
Yes. I mean, I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's sort of it plays a lot with horror cliches, I think, and makes fun of those and have fun with those. I don't think it's for everyone. There's a lot of nakedness. It's, I would say, almost softcore porn.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. But if that's your thing, I think you would have a lot of fun with it. So,
yeah, I think it's almost like a shame that there's so much nudity, because if there weren't, more people could watch this, I think. They actually go a bit overboard at one point, which we'll discuss shortly, I'm sure. But in general, I would recommend it to people who like Reanimator and movies like that. If you like that, you'll probably like this as well. And you'll also find that it makes sort of fun with that sort of guy who puts body parts together to create the perfect female for himself. It makes fun of that, and it's very self-aware. Very self-aware. He has a lot of, like, he speaks, it's not even like an inner monologue, because I think he speaks outright, like with words, you know.
He talks to himself all the time. Yeah.
And in that you kind of get that whole parody element in what he says. So it's very blatant, and it's funny if you've seen that type of movies.
Yes,
and
yes.
You get but yeah, so in the previous video we said that we had a sort of literary theme. I feel like we might need to just like, why? Well, it's called Frankenhooker, and obviously it's a spoof of the whole Frankenstein's monster movies, which we just said. And Frankenstein is obviously a book by Mary Shelley, which most people would know. But we could also mention that the previous movie, The Wicker Man, is also based loosely on a book, so that's why we said the whole literary thing. Anywho, I think we're going to get into spoilers, so if you haven't watched it and you feel like, well, this sounds interesting, go and watch that right now. And turn this off and come back if you want to hear what we think about it a bit more. So yeah. So for me it was the second time watching it, and for you it was the first time. Yeah.
What was your first impression when you started watching it? What was?
Oh, well, I have to... what happened? Okay. Well, I think the first thing was kind of hilarious. He has a brain in a jar, in a glass jar, and he tries to make it sort of do his bidding almost. And
it's a brain with an eye, like
in the brain.
Yeah, like not here, like in the brain, and it's like, it's so weird. I mean, it's like, how does that work? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, and it's also funny how the other people treats him. So his stepmother comes in and he's like, oh, would you hand me the ketchup, hon? Like it's nothing, like it's not a brain with an eye sitting in a jar on the kitchen table. So that's really funny. And also then there's an interaction with his mother where it's kind of the same thing, and he speaks very dark thoughts. And then she's like, well, would you like a sandwich? So they're all oblivious.
He's basically confessing to being a psychopath. Like,
yeah,
I feel disconnected from reality.
Exactly.
She's like, would you
It's
like a
gonna-
sandwich?
yeah. So and I think they're like setting up that he's able to do these weird things in the garage because obviously no one pays any attention. Everyone's just in their own mindset and don't know what's happening. So yeah, I thought it was hilarious in that way.
Definitely.
But then we can get into the whole nudity thing, which I do think, I don't know if cheapens is the right word to use, because like this is obviously a B movie. It's a kind of a cheap story as well, but I do think that if they had just scaled that down a bit, it would have been a better movie actually.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, it's a movie called Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
You sort of expect some nudity,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely. What I'm mostly thinking about is the whole scene. There's a scene when he's essentially bought the services of these hookers, and they're in a room when he starts measuring them, and they think it's like a sex game, and it goes on, and I think the whole scene is fine. It's kind of funny. It jokes. It makes a joke of the whole objectifying females and what's the perfect body part. I mean, they're all gorgeous and they're all. It's kind of silly and funny that way. But after that, when he's made this, what was it? Super crack. And they start taking it, and he's like, "No, don't do it. It's gonna kill you." And because he's struggling with his two personalities. And then the scene goes on and on, and it starts not being funny. I think that's the main thing. Because
the thing is, when they have smoked the super crack, they're gonna explode. That's what it's gonna lead up to.
Exactly.
And we know this.
Yeah.
But it takes quite a long time.
So there's this part where they're like, "Oh my god, super crack, me, funny." That's funny. And then there's a whole scene when they're just getting more and more promiscuous, and they're taking off their clothes, and it's not funny. It's not funny. No. And I'm not a 12-year-old boy who can masturbate to this, so I don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. And then the fun starts again with their exploding and the fun camera angles and everything. So it's just a part there when I just think it's cheap and it doesn't add anything. That's probably what I want to get at. I mean, I'm not someone who's offended by nudity or anything, but when it's like 99% female, I am gonna have a critical eye when I look at that. I can't do it any other way, so that's just the way I watch things, I guess. Sorry, now I had a really long point there, whatever, but yeah.
But I think it's interesting talking about that and then looking at the end, because in the end he does manage to put Elizabeth back together, but she sort of has some memories from the hookers and goes on a killing spree almost. But he gets her back and fixes her, so she's Elizabeth, only with new body parts. But then the pimp of the hookers comes and wants Zorro, and wants revenge. And he managed to cut off the head of Jeffrey. And Elizabeth is like, I have an idea. So she puts him back together, but she uses female body parts. Yeah. So Jeffrey has a female body in the end, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and that's also because he said, well, my resurrection thing only works with females because the bathtub with the special liquid is estrogen based. So his own thing is really coming back at him in the end. And I also, you touched on the whole killing spree thing, because she starts, like, she's only remembering a short time before her death or her body parts deaths when they were hookers. And I think that's something that's touched on in the original Frankenstein, and also whatever movies has been brought out because of that, where he doesn't really remember his past life, which is in the brain, but the other body parts mess with his experience and his memories. So they kind of spoof that in this movie, where she remembers being a hooker, whereas in Frankenstein, I think there's criminal body parts, so he has these sort of criminal bodily memories. So I thought that was kind of funny when I watched it.
Definitely.
I don't know if that was their plan, but I'm guessing it was.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it was. Because like I said, it's a very self-aware film.
Yeah.
In almost everything it does. So yeah, definitely.
What did you think of like how the movie looked? I'm talking like style and effects and everything. How did
I think it looks kind of nice. I mean, it's a low budget film and the practical effects are pretty bad. But I think the movie kind of rolls with that. You know, like I said, it's self-aware. It knows the effects are bad, but that's also kind of the point. You know, so I didn't mind that really, and I think. It was released in the 1990, but it feels very much like an 80s film, I think, aesthetically. But I dig that kind of look. Yeah. And when the hookers explode, there's fireworks and everything, and I dig fireworks, so...
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. And it's I mean, you can very clearly see that it's a sort of wax or whatever doll thing they've made. But it works, I think, and it just adds to the whole ridiculousness of the whole thing. Hi! You might be wondering what's up with the change of clothes and angle and pretty much everything. Well, there was a video gnome who stole the short sequence of video that was supposed to talk about something. So we decided this night when we were watching some other movies that we do it again. And it was Linnea's bit, so why don't you
yes, so
just fill this part in, basically.
The missing part was when I was talking about the acting of the main actor in Frankenhooker. And basically what I said was that maybe I don't necessarily think he's a good actor, but I think he was very good for the part. He played a sort of kind of weird, kind of social awkward character very well, and sort of the nerdy type very well. And I was actually reminded slightly of, like in Troll 2, you know, the guy that says, oh, they're eating her and now they're gonna eat me, oh my god, you know, that whole thing. Which, I mean, Troll 2 is famous for being a very bad film, and Frankenhooker is sort of bad, but on purpose bad, and I think the actor who played the main character did it very well. He was very suited for the film, I think. Yeah. Okay. And I think her acting, I had some trouble determining if her acting was bad or if it was intentional, but I think for the most part she worked. Yeah. She was
kind of hilarious as Frankenhooker.
Yes.
So yes. that was fun.
Definitely. So yeah. That is it from us this time. Have you seen Frankenhooker? Do you want to see it? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. As usual, like and subscribe, and we will see you again soon. Bye bye.